Great day, amazing humans. Yes, welcome to Empowering Bytes. This is where we keep it short and sweet. But who is the we? Well, the we is me, Nkechi, and
I'm Gaby with 1B. Pleased to be the co-host of these Empowering Bytes, where we keep it short and sweet.
E to the A to the B to the what? Mamone! That is Gaby 1B Mamone. Let's go, girl. Let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans, and welcome to the next Empowering Bytes episode where I'm joined by a recent award winner, Gabriella Mamone.
Oh, thank
Congratulations,
you.
Queen. How was that experience?
That was nice. It takes one to know one. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You got the award. You got the award. How was that?
Thank you. It was
Big
amazing.
honor.
It was a Civic Award of recognition in the city that I live in, awarded by members of council and the mayor for my work in the community and philanthropy and volunteerism. And it was really lovely to be recognized, I have to say. It was an honor.
I love that. And you are lovely to be recognized. It is, you are a lovely human to be recognized. And I saw your bling cane. Yes, girl.
Oh, you saw the bling cane that you and Helen gave me for my birthday. I loved it. Yeah.
I remember I only really got to use it a couple. My mother-in-law is the one that gave it to me. God bless her. And I only really got to use it a couple of times on stage. I remember after a while when they were like, "Oh, you're cane free," and I was like, "Oh, I could be able to use it on." I don't wish it back for myself, but
no.
I was thinking of bringing it on for a prop, and I was like, no. But one day, yeah.
Well, if ever you do have pain, I mean, you can use it as a fashion statement just for security.
I still have it. I can give it to my mom. My mom might like it. She might like to bling out.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love today's topic, right? Because, oh my gosh, I think about in this world of adulting, I'm actually trying to figure out how can I go through more of my experiences like children, like a child, right? So rather just being insatiably curious, right? If you've ever noticed, kids just ask question after question after question, and they're really not embarrassed that they don't know. They just ask, and they never even think, is it a dumb, stupid question? Or, you never hear a kid say, I have a stupid question. And so even me recognizing that kids don't do that, even I started to say, I have a brilliant question to put into the room, right? But I think ultimately it's they're excited to learn. And if I had to wish that in my life, I'd be I'm excited to learn more, even when I'm going through a problem. I'm excited to learn about who I'm going to become. I'm excited to learn about, what have I learned from this experience? I'm excited to imagine if I could approach it like that, right? This with this childlike curiosity. I think it would take me out of a lot of dark moments.
I have to agree with you. And I think just at some point in life, just like love, we're born into love, but at some point, sometimes some people are taught to hate, right? And I think the same goes with curiosity. We're all born with this wonderful curiosity, but at what point does someone actually lose it? And I'm a mom with two kids, 17 and 11, and they're curious and they keep me on my toes. And I don't judge anymore because I'm so enamored by the questions that they ask and how much they want to know and how unfiltered it is. And it's beautiful. And really, I'm the one that often doesn't know the answers because the questions are so profound.
Right. Do you think we have done them a disservice? I'm trying to think about, I certainly don't know if it's ever been with questions. I don't have a childhood memory of it, but I do know sometimes it'd be like, oh, Nkechi, don't laugh so loud. You know what I mean? They try to temper you down, right? And so soon you start tempering down or soon you start to learn oh, in this environment, I shouldn't laugh loud. You know what I mean? Versus that's how I express myself, and Dr. Shefali, I read a book called Radical Awakening.
Yeah.
And in there, she talked about, because she wrote the conscious parenting, but she really talked about radical awakening in all of us requires us to actually go back and do some of those childhood what do they call like cultural barriers and stuff like that that had been instilled in us just because of the way people were raised, and then they raise us in the same
Mhm.
way, right? But I'm wondering if like is sometimes we as adults we stop asking questions because somewhere someone tells us, oh, that's a stupid question, or why are you asking that question, versus taking the challenge to answer the question, you know?
It's so true. And this, I think, is why some people do feel like they have to be silenced, right? Or
Mhm.
maybe they do play small. Or come on, have you ever, I have to ask you this in all honesty, have you ever pretended to understand something because you were afraid to ask?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I mean, yes. I'm gonna say yes, I have.
Yeah.
What I'm recognizing now, I don't know if it's perimenopause and all this, that, and the other, because sometimes it's like I hear something and then I literally forget it like in seconds. So I'm learning to be courageous, to ask for grace and saying, hey, I'm not sure I'm not sure if I follow. Like I'm not really
Hmm.
like I'm not computing right now. Like I'm not understanding. Like, can you take me back through that again? Or asking for permission to say, like, I believe this is what I heard, you know?
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I correct? Yeah.
Right. You're not like adamant that you know the answer. You're being
Yeah.
humble about it. I think
Yeah.
that's fair. I wanted to share something funny with you. So my daughter the other day asked me, she said, Mommy, how does a ship stop in the water when it needs to stop? And I happen to know from my husband's military background that
Okay.
over 90% of people will actually get this question wrong. So
Oh,
most people will say the anchor, right? You
okay.
put the anchor in, but
Mm.
that's actually not what stops it. It's something, and forgive me for anyone that really knows the answer because
Yeah,
I may
yeah.
be butchering it. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's actually the chain. It's actually the chain that's attached to the anchor, something to do with the shackle, and right close to the anchor, there's some kind of a U shape. And anyway, I don't know the
Really?
logistics
Okay.
behind
Okay.
it.
That's
Yeah, there's a whole science behind it's not the anchor itself, it's the chain, the shackle. Okay. So she wanted to know how does it, and I just said it has something to do with the anchor and then the chain on the anchor. She's like, but how? And I was like, I don't know. I actually don't know. And I said it has something to do with it stopping the water. But she's like, but the ship is so heavy and it's going at a fast speed. And I'm like, let's look it up. I don't know. And it's like those beautiful
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
allow me to become more intelligent because
Yeah.
I just didn't
Don't
know.
know.
and
Right.
and they but they want to know, and good for them, right? and
Hmm.
and we if we take that example in life, we should simply be asking questions, not minimize, not feel it's too silly, right? But just sometimes we play small, and it's sad because
But
as kids they want to
it's
play
almost
big.
like we feel like asking questions makes us seem weak or like not less capable, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, like, when did we actually decide that for ourselves, right? So to anyone that's listening, I think like I have to pick up this mantle and just continue to be more insatiably curious. I want to be more self-aware as to, do I tend to, sort of prophesize and like tell versus ask, you know?
Mm. Let me
Um,
ask you this. Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, but you're a
no,
leader at work.
yeah.
And so
Mhm.
if anyone from your team comes to you with a question, do you judge or do you embrace that curiosity?
I want to be honest because sometimes it's like, so I mean, my answer would be like, yeah, I would think that the question needs to be asked. I mean, sometimes I would say that I've even I've been aware of somebody asked a question. It's almost like somebody like passed over it. And I'm like, I think there's a question in the room that's been asked, right? So I'm trying to say that somebody asked a question, like we can't just ignore people like that,
Yeah,
But I'm saying that I'm human, and I'm pretty sure that there's either been times that somebody's come asked a question, and if I have felt that like, oh, I've answered that question again, I'm like, okay, let me try this again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
and now that you're asking me, I want to be more self-aware that I never position someone to feel in a discussion with me that they can't ask questions, right?
mhm,
And that any questions really off limits, because even if a question cannot be answered, an answer can be given to
yeah,
indicate that this question can, like, so all questions can get an answer, and
yeah.
they can get an answer in a way that services the people, right? So I know that I could do better and I want to.
Yeah. And good for you. I think that's wonderful. And that's what makes you a great, great leader. And in my role prior to being a speaker and a speech coach, I used to work in the HR industry. So I interviewed a lot of people, I worked with a lot of companies. And I remember when some of my previous clients were searching for people, I always knew who were the great leaders just by the questions they
Mhm.
were asking. They were asking me, and then they were asking the people, right?
Mhm.
Like if let's say someone asked a question, they'll go deeper if they generally didn't understand.
Mhm.
Like, can
Mhm.
you help me understand? Like,
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
actually happened? Or what do you mean by
Mhm.
that? Can you elaborate on that? Tell me more. And so when they dig deeper, that actually shows that they have an interest in what the person's asking. I think it's a very strong leadership skill to embrace questions and to ask more questions.
And I love the whole tell me more. And I'm
Yeah.
grabbing something that's near me.
Okay.
I got these years ago in a leadership course. Please tell me if yeah, I do have them. Yeah. I got these years ago in a leadership course, and I've continued to carry them alongside. Look at the envelope I got it in. It's like still like it's hampered.
And I love how organic this conversation is because even though Ink and I planned that this was the topic we were going to chat about, we don't have like scripted notes or anything. This is real, where she leaned over her desk for those that are just listening and grabbed something off of her desk, totally unplanned.
And for the life of me, the acronym of the course is like BFTFP. I can't remember what it stood for. I'm wondering if it's here. No. Anyway, so these were all like how to ask open-ended questions or get clear. One of them was it was all about leadership, right? So it was
Mm,
about how to give feedback, accountability in five, possibility questions, create possibilities for your team, but get clear, because the one that I loved was um, about asking open-ended questions. And
mhm.
tell me more reminds me of another one that has said like as a leader, and what else?
Yes,
Right? And what else?
I
When
love it.
all else fails and you're not quite sure what to do, rather than sort of and what else? Like sometimes because before you like, especially if you're trying to coach somebody or somebody's sharing something with you or this any other, I think where that comes really powerful is like let them empty out the tank. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
and what else until they get to a point where they're like, no, I think that that's it. Right. Then you
Mm,
sort of have all the information probably you need, all the data you need to then be able to go back and give them a more fulsome question. Like, I'm glad this came up because it's even for me, it's just a reminder, but tell me more or and what else are really, 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 really great get clear questions, right?
mhm. Oh, I love that.
Something else that came to me though, because beyond questions, I think like in adult like I was watching back a video of myself hosting an event the other day, and and I announced something, and like like it's just, like it was, first of all, we had a hype opening. The I'm hype, the event is hype, and I say something, and then it's like, you know, and then I said, "Come on, no," I said, "Come on, this is not a library." And I didn't say anything, like I didn't say clap more, I didn't say put your voices up or this any, but then all of a sudden, like clap.
Yeah,
Like I feel like as adults, it's like more and more we need to have permission to be more personally expressive. And
yeah,
like, when have you ever, right? I don't know, but maybe you have. I even think Tony Robbins, like as hype as he gets the hype, he gets the audience more hype. You understand? Like
yes.
they don't
Yeah,
start up
whole new
as
level.
hype as they can, right?
Yeah,
And so
jumping it all.
right, right. And then he'll be like, come on, and then everyone's like, they're just going crazy. He's like, yeah. And then shake your head, like, you don't care. And then,
Yeah,
they're just doing that. But it's like everybody needs all these permissions. Like, I'm waiting for that day where I say, great day, amazing humans. And how are you doing today? And they blow the roof off, right? Like, but half of the time they're like, come on, you could do better. Like, you're a host. How many times?
yeah,
Most hosts would say, come on, you could do better than that. Come on,
yeah,
let me ask you again. You know what I mean? Like most hosts have to repeat it. But
yeah,
imagine if you put host out of a job a bit, right? Where they're like, oh,
yeah. I'm
I
gonna
actually
actually
think they could do
challenge.
better than that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
I'm
tell me?
actually going to challenge that
Yeah.
idea slightly because we're both hosts. And what I
Yeah.
have found is I believe a host in some, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now. We'll come
Yeah.
back,
No,
but
that's okay.
we have to earn permission. If I'm going to hype you up, then I have to be hyped up myself. I have to set that example. I
But I'm
can't
saying you
say to
have, but I'm
someone,
saying in the situation that you have.
yes, and okay, and that's the difference. See, when you relate it to this topic that we're talking about
Yeah.
with children,
Yeah.
right? We begin life with trust, okay?
Yes.
But
Yes.
adults, there's we learn through experience and we become cynical sometimes and reserved and cautious, right? And so now that can allow us to be very intelligent, very wise, but ultimately that caution can help us discern things, whereas kids don't always have that. Children don't always have that. I
Mhm.
actually want to talk about Jesus for a minute,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, why do you think Jesus used children as the example?
Oh, I think he used children as an example. I think because they really showed a like I mean Jesus wouldn't use that word, but like a very laissez-faire like approach to life, right? Like
Yeah,
they they were just loving. They
yeah,
didn't need a reason to, right?
yeah.
They just were. Um, I don't know if there's a right answer to that or a wrong answer, but no, I know that there's some scripture or very specific scripture to that.
I went to an event once and the organizers said, in order to come to this event, we need you to email us one of your baby pictures.
Hmm.
And I thought, that's interesting. And I'll tell you, when we entered the room, there was this wall of all of our baby pictures. It was so powerful. And then she opened it up, something along the lines of, what happened to the curiosity we
Hmm.
had when we were
Oh, very
that
cute.
age,
Hmm.
right? When we were willing to say, I don't have an answer, when we were willing to ask the questions. And it was so powerful to see it like that and then just kind of find your own. And it's so true because as children, we have this faith and we simply just want to know. And
Hmm.
so, to your question at the beginning, why, when, how did we learn that curiosity? How do we lose that
Hmm.
curiosity?
But
And
what was your memory? What did why did you ask what Jesus how did Jesus use children or
well,
why he
one,
used
because
those
it was in
children?
our show notes, and so
Yeah.
we have to honor what we're going to
Well, it
say.
was in our teaser script. It was in the teaser script. No, no,
Yes,
I
sorry, our
know.
teaser script. That's what I meant. That's what I meant to say, not our show notes, our teaser script. And so we have to actually talk about it. But ultimately, it's about the children. Like
And they were vulnerable.
they're
They
very
just had
vulnerable and they're
vulnerable.
moldable, right? You can
Mhm.
teach them. They want to learn and they'll believe us. You know,
Yeah.
my mom, it's cute. Like she'll say little white lies,
Hmm.
like to her grandkids when they were starting to eat vegetables, she would say, "These cucumbers, you don't have to brush your teeth after lunch because the cucumbers brush your teeth for you. All you need is five." And then the kids are like eating five cucumbers, because they're so trusting. They're
Yeah,
so
yeah.
trusting,
And I
right?
think the other thing I would say, like just on Jesus's teaching, I think part of it too is like they were who they were without any type of greatness or success tied to it.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yes,
Like
right.
they were just who they were, curious and loving and expressive without having anything tied to it.
Right. And they want to be guided.
Yes, yeah.
Right? They
Yeah.
want to be guided and they look for guidance, right?
Yes.
They're young.
Yes.
They don't know how to do all the
Yes.
things on their own, so they need the guidance.
Yeah, that's that one right there. That one right there. Wow, I love it. So I once did an episode, and just to close this off, I once did an episode with Kay Lane, and we called it Play More. And it was
Mm,
very much about the same thing where she was just wishing like she was just learning in her adult life to just play more. Like, you know what I mean? Like
mm,
whatever that means, but to just not to take life so totally like not serious, but to not be so tight and constricted that you can't move with life in a playful manner, you know? And I'm going to say, like, where I am in my season right now in life, I need more of that, you know? And however
Yeah.
I could bring that into my life, whether it's going to comedy shows or finding reasons to laugh. Or the other day, I was talking to a friend, it was late at night, and I tend to get a little wonky late at night. And I remember I was just being so silly, so
Oh,
silly. And
that's
part of it was,
awesome.
and part of it was what informed us wanting to talk about it because he was like, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm just being silly. Like I'm just loving being silly. Like I want to be silly. Like let me be silly. I said, let me be silly. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
silly. And then I just couldn't stop giggling and laughing and then they were laughing, right? Like, and so it's like, you're so crazy. I said, no, I'm just silly. Just
Uh,
silly. Sometimes it's sometimes it's fun to just be silly, right? So
yes.
yeah.
Be a kid.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
do. I
Exactly.
do. Yeah. So
Oh,
I love this. We
me
need to
too.
play more. And to anyone that's listening to this, I strongly encourage you to share this episode and encourage people around you to really start to ask questions more, right?
Hmm.
And just questions after questions and adopt more of a childlike nature. And do never be afraid to ask a question in any room that you're in, ever,
Yeah.
you know?
Just have that
And
insatiable
right.
curiosity.
And encouraging in others by saying, tell me more
Yes.
or what else?
I love it.
So this
Yeah.
is where I say I'm Ink
I'm Gabby with 1B.
and we're out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.